Hi everyone, my name is Shannon and welcome to King Family Farm, and today we're working on a bit of a poultry run here. So I normally free range my chickens, but winter is coming and they're kind of dainty and they don't particularly enjoy walking around in the snow. So I've got a couple cattle panels here that I picked up at our local co-op, and I used them for trellis this summer, but I've put up a wall with some pallets. And then all I used was T-posts, and that one I'm actually going to have to pound in a little further. I wasn't thinking when I did it. I'm going to have to pound it in a little further with a 10-pound sledge, which is fine. And then we're going to put a tarp over top of this. And the prevailing wind actually comes from the other side of our baby barn. So we're going to not worry about the end because they're not going to get the snow. And I'm just going to put a piece of greenhouse poly that I've got that's a little worn out. It's not great for the greenhouse and low tunnels anymore, but it'll do just fine for this. So we're just plugging away at this today because it's not raining yet. I think it's actually held off now until this evening, which is great. So if it doesn't rain until after dark, I get some more stuff done today. So I've still got my girls locked in. I usually leave them in until after lunch because that way they lay inside and I don't have to go on an Easter egg hunt. So that's what we're up to today, and just really basic tools. We've got a T-post pounder that I picked up at Tractor Supply 5 years ago or so. They're not particularly expensive. In Canada you can get them at Home Hardware, again not particularly expensive, and some scrap wood, and I'm using some 2.5-inch screws and a drill, and that's it. And this is just a this is just my little M12 Milwaukee, and it's really all you need for most things. You can buy a bigger one, it's not really necessary. This will put a 2.5-inch, 3-inch screw in, no problem. You can put a little weight behind it, but it'll do it. And they charge real quick, so I highly recommend them. And that's what we're up to today, and then if we get this done, I'll see what else I get into. So basically what I've done here is I've taken the T-posts and I've pounded them in so that they're lower than the pallet itself, and then I've just attached the pallet. Wind. Hopefully you can hear me. So I've just pounded those in lower than the pallet, and then I've attached the pallet to the wire, these cattle panels here, and these things are fantastic because they don't really need any center support. And all I've done here is I've attached the board and screwed right into the pallet here so that it'll hold the wire to it, and then we're just going to put some poly over top of it, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to put the poly over top, and then we're going to do a board like this to sandwich the poly to the pallet, and that should hold it secure enough for the winter. And the cat inspectors have shown up. Hey soldier. The cat inspector has shown up to make sure that I'm doing this correctly, and they were a little scared when I was pounding the posts, but and they took off. So that's what we're up to. It's really simple, super cheap. These are just scrap pallets we had lying around, and it'll hold it up. And in the spring I'll just take it down. So in the spring I don't worry about it. They'll go out in the rain, they stay in the coop when the weather is really bad, but I open them up every day in the winter unless it's an absolute blizzard outside. But I open it every day so they can come outside and check things out. And because the snow is gone, they've actually got the opportunity to they've actually got the opportunity to get around out here and scratch about. So they're kind of enjoying that reprieve from the snow. But next week I think we're gonna get some snow, and probably the next snow I think will stay. Although the last couple of years the snow hasn't been sticking around. 2 years ago for Christmas, maybe it was last Christmas, it was like 15 degrees Celsius and pouring rain, and there was not a drop of snow outside. It was terrible. So hopefully we get some snow for Christmas, because we like a white Christmas here. Okay, so what we've done here is we've put the poly on, and I know it's really dirty, but the dirt's on the outside. It's gonna rain tonight. This is just a piece of leftover poly I had from when I skinned my high tunnel, and it makes a great temporary shelter. You could also do this if you needed a temporary shelter for goats or small animals. You just needed a shelter. This isn't going to contain goats, but it will give them a bit of a windbreak and somewhere to get out of the weather, and it'll do that for you. So what I've done is I've put the poly on, and then what I decided to do is lash it down like I would on a low tunnel. So here you can see what I've done is I've gone up and back over, and I've done a knot here, a loop on this end, pulled it through and pulled it nice and tight. And so what that does is helps stop the wind from getting up underneath and flapping the poly, because what's going to happen is that poly continues to flap. The wind will actually damage it. It won't last as long, and it could pull it free, and we don't want that to happen. So I've done that in 1, 2, 3 spots, and that should hold it down. So what we've got here is a nice little shelter. It's got a bit of a windbreak. I put a little wall here because the wind tends to come here. It's going to come in on that corner, and that'll help kind of stop the snow from getting right in there on them. And they can get out if they want when the weather is nice. And I just open the pop door. I've put in a roosting bar for them, and I've screwed it to the wall just in case it decides to slide down. That way it can't, and it won't fall on them. So I'm going to let the girls out because it's about 11:30, and that's good enough for me. These are my commercial girls, and most of them will lay by now. So we're going to let them out and let them get some water, because I don't keep water in my coop. It increases the moisture content, the humidity in your coop, and then you have issues with frostbite. So, and we don't want any frostbite issues. So I will always put my water outside. If they want water, they have to come out and get it. And sometimes in the winter, the weather's really bad. They'll come out, they'll drink, they'll go back in. But they always come out for the water. They know where it is. And so let's let them out and see what they think. So some of them move right on past the water, and that's okay because they have the option to explore. I just noticed my rooster, he's really starting to look good again. He went through a hard molt. He was looking really ragged. So he's looking really pretty again. He's really lovely. And he's going to do well this winter. He has a small comb on him. I find the poultry where we are, if they have a smaller comb, they tend to do better, and they have less risk of frostbite on their comb. So everybody's gone out and they're exploring, and this gives them just a nice little spot to get out of the weather, but they still get outside, because one of the things you're going to run into with your chickens in the winter is if you keep them cooped up and they don't have enough space, they will start feather picking. And once they see blood, they don't stop. Their chickens seem really nice, but they're little dinosaurs. They're not very friendly. They're actually quite vicious. So these guys are quite happy. Here we go. Come here. Come here. Here we go. Look it. Hey? Hey? What do you think? Yeah? What do you think? All right. Here you go. She's thirsty. She's not happy with me. But I enjoy them. This particular breed, they're quite nice. They're very friendly and my kids really like them. So I do keep them around. But you can, I mean, Heritage Poultry is fantastic and I highly recommend getting some. They're beautiful. They can be just as well mannered. And then you have this just really nice flock that's a backyard flock. You get fun colored eggs. These guys just lay brown eggs, not super exciting. I'm just going to turn the camera so you can see my deer there. And he's just filling out real nice. So he's starting to look good again because he was looking really ragged. He had almost no tail left. So sometimes these guys go through a really hard molt and they slow down laying for you. But I think these guys are going to enjoy this shelter. It's quick, it's easy, it's inexpensive. We like that kind of stuff on the homestead. I hope you guys give something like this a try. It doesn't have to be fancy, just nice and simple. And give it a try, guys. Let me know how it works out. And leave some comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next time here on the farm.